So how's your healing process going? You mentioned the traumas and that. How's it going? How are you doing it? There are many other people who have experienced serious traumas and they're not sure where to start, where to go. There isn't that clarity. How would you advise such a person who's watching, who wants to be healed and to be ready for the next relationship, or even if it's not for the next relationship, just to have healing?
Again, I'm going to use an analogy. I like making use of analogies because I think in pictures.
Yeah.
So my healing process is in progress.
Okay.
I can't say I have fully healed, but I've healed to a degree that I am very much clear. I've healed in the sense that I've forgiven. And by forgiveness, I don't mean reconciliation, but I mean I have now released the person
From your
from
heart
me
and
saying that, yeah, you did this to me, you hurt me, you cheated, or whatever the case may be. But I have released them. So that element is taken care of. The healing is of the wounds that I know of, the wounds that I have no knowing of, the ones that are so deep entrenched in me that need a deep work from God, the ones that are my own doing, I don't think I had a very traumatic experience.
Okay.
Like if I were to compare it to trauma, but I had a traumatic experience fitted for me.
Okay.
And I'm going about healing. So I think of my healing like it's if I was an athlete, you know. I cannot run to save my life. I can't even run in dreams, let alone in real life. But pretend I was an athlete, whether a runner or any other sport for that matter, and I got injured.
Yeah.
When you get injured, they stop for a season and they say you are going through rehabilitation, and then you would either be ready to go back, or you might be so injured that you might even lose that sport or that career. So I think I am injured, but there's hope for me. There's a recovery for me. And then now you go through therapy as that athlete. And as you go through therapy, physiotherapy, they will then see, okay, now you can walk. Now the spinal cord is not affected, or this is how we would rehabilitate that. So for me, those rehabilitation programs, firstly, it has to be God. Because he knows my internal wounds. He knows the deep entrenched wound. He knows while I was forming, while I was growing, what the enemy came and he stole. He knows that, and he can restore that I do not even know. He knows what was corrupted when I was growing, the views I have, even the influence of my parents or figures, or he knows every element that was affected, by whom, by what, when. So that is one healing that I need to go through. So again, that analogy that I'm using would be a specialist who would then check the x-rays and see, are they broken bones? Where should we start? Should we just get them running, or should we first start trying to allow them to stand up? That's the God part. And then luckily there's so many other avenues. There's counseling. I'm not so much of a psychological
You don't fully stand for that.
Not even stand, but I've not seen the impact of it.
Okay.
Personally, for me, I don't see it.
Okay.
But
have you tried it?
I've never tried it.
Okay.
I've never tried it. But I would say that's another avenue, because then you would maybe be asked questions. So I have kind of been in counseling therapy per se, not so formal, but just discussing my own personal experience with another person that is outside
the situation.
Exactly. And then having them ask me, or having me convey it, makes me think, makes me heal. So that I would say is, for some people, it would be a formal therapy session with a counselor, because God works in relationships. you could be hurt in a relationship and God would use a relationship to heal you. So hence I said God will play the part of the specialist because he knows the whens and the hows and the what, and then he would then direct relationships to get you to a place because you can't help yourself. Then that would be maybe your physiotherapist assisting you to say, okay, the doctor said your spinal cord is maybe broken here, so when you stand up you must stand up like this. So that's the element. The other element is again observation, seeing what other people are doing that's different to what you did and what's working out there. That plays an element of healing. The other element is time, and you'll see time also in this analogy. You don't just getting injured and then tomorrow
you up again.
There's time. So God also uses the time for healing. So for me, if you have been in a trauma, give yourself time. Don't just immediately rush to the next relationship because chances are you're going to cycle back. You're going to attract the very same things. You're going to come and injure the very same spot that is injured. So that is also an element to my healing or my healing approach. Hence I said it's progressive. And I will get to a place where I am fully clear and I'm fully aware. And I think life will tell and the fruits will tell that if you talk about somebody, I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'll laugh about it. That person, what was I thinking, And that will just indicate to me that, wow, you've gone past that.
Yeah.
You've healed beyond that. There's no sting anymore. And yeah, just learning through reading, learning through a whole lot of avenues to learn what not to do. And then again, the center, which is what I started with, the center being God guiding you and saying, I think you are ready now.
Yeah.
Here is the promised land, you Israelite, and there are the challenges, but because you are so, now you have this knowledge, you are then able to face the challenges head on and they won't break you. They will build you. So that is my approach generally in getting fully healed. I've always never advocated, and I don't think I jumped into I might have actually once jumped into the next relationship after the other one ended. But I always feel that there should be that time of waiting. And it also speaks to your dependency
on the person. Yeah.
You could be a dependent person. You could be interdependent. You could be independent. You need to get to a place where you are single. And by single, I'm not saying single in terms of relationship, but single-minded, not dependent on anyone. Even though companionship and relationships are beautiful, singleness is required. You need to bring your full self into a relationship as opposed to wanting to depend on someone emotionally, wanting to you can't last on your own. That feeds into that toxic cycle a lot because you jump into a relationship for the sake of I cannot be lonely. Do you not enjoy your own company?
Yeah.
And that time allows for that. You start enjoying your own company, you start finding out the kind of person you are and the kind of people you want in your circle without just fully always being exhausted of your energy through relationships all the time. So that is time is also a very crucial element to healing. Time alone is a very crucial element to that healing process. So yeah, I'd advise young people that have been traumatized to give themselves time. I know at some point it seems like it's impossible. You are so hurt, so depressed. You don't know, as they say with their poetry, I cannot be without you. It feels like that, but when you allow time, and no matter how this thing is, you eventually get out. And I just want to use an extra analogy there with an addiction. We each might have been addicted to things, whether it be TV, drugs, sex, whatever. You could be potentially addicted to something and you could have gone out of that addiction, but it wasn't easy. You first had to, get almost maybe sometimes relapse, sometimes, what's the word, when you are at that moment just post leaving whatever, cold feet,
Cold turkey.
yes, cold turkey. But if you persisted, you eventually got out of that phase, and then you got out of that addiction. So even in relationships can be addictive, and you might want to jump from one relationship to the other. But if you truly want to heal, you need to go through the whole addiction phase out of it. You get out of it, you get your cold turkey, you stick it out, you step out of the cold turkey, you rehabilitate. What's the word? Rehabilitate, yes. And then eventually you are free. That thing has no hold over you anymore. So for me, that is healing, where that thing has no hold. Not just after cold turkey, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I don't feel like I need to smoke if I'm a smoker. But I fully would see a cigarette and I wouldn't be bothered. So that for me is healing, where I'll be like, I would look back to my relationship and I would not be bothered.
Yeah.
Or I would look into somebody else and I would not be moved to want to pursue a relationship immediately.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Thank you. Any last words? Any word of advice to people in relationships, single, married, any level of the relationship?
Okay, so I won't say expect advice. It was more of an informed opinion. I'd like to think of it that way. In each role or in each level of relationship you are at, be filled.
Okay.
Be filled by be single. And by single, again, you can be married and be single. And I think I learned this from Miles Monroe. But be single in the sense that be so filled with goodness, with the fruits of the Spirit, so that when you pour yourself out, you are not empty, or you're not drawing out from others only. You know, you are giving so that when you receive, you can rightfully receive. Give yourself time, whether be it healing, whether be it learning from your mistakes. Give yourself time. Don't rush. Don't. One of the words of Nelson Mandela is, "It seems impossible until it's done." If you are maybe healing from traumas, it seems impossible until you heal
Actually
from it.
heal. Yeah.
But healing will come, whether in progress in relationships or just outside waiting for a relationship. And if you are young, wait, don't rush, get to know yourself again, be full, and be able to stand alone without a person, that when somebody comes into your life, they complement it, they don't make it up. Because then if they do make it up, if it fails, you break up, you break down. You completely break down. That's why sometimes people are so pushed to even suicide, because you had so given so much power to somebody else. Keep your power without overpowering the next person. Be considerate and do to others as you'd want done to you. And stay true to yourself no matter what. I think one thing that was positive overall for me, one of the things that were positive, was I've always stayed true to who I am. I didn't allow any of the failing of the relationships to change me. I didn't go into the next relationship and say, oh, because they cheated, I will now start cheating. That is not me. So I'm not going to take that person, and I'm not going to become that person. So stay true to yourself and stay progressively improving, progressively identifying your impact or your influence or your input into anything, positive or not. And then if it's positive, continue. If it's negative, improve it and heal. Yeah, I would say that overall in terms of relationships. And let us then get people who are like-minded, or let me get someone who's like-minded and hopefully build something healthy, something of common goals and successful according to my eyes and the eyes of God.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your experience that you've shared with us, your advice and your views. I hope that you guys have learned something. I hope that you took something from that. Our friend Wendy, the queen of analogies and examples. Which of her many analogies stuck with you? Let us know in the comment section below. But no, they made sense. And yeah, with that, it makes it easy for people to understand. And we appreciate every single one of your analogies. We appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. Be sure to click the like button if you like this video. Share it with others, especially those that have been traumatized by relationships and need a way of coming out healed and whole again. Share in the comment section what you related to the most from Wendy's story. And if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. It is totally free and it supports me, and I appreciate your support. Until next time, bye for now.